And here it is me and stuff. So today we'll be doing on a new video. Oh, this is a horrible quality map. Let me fix that in just a sec. I did not realize. Okay, so we fixed the map quality. Mhm. Now, today we will be doing a video that is called What If? Let me just make the oceans a more acceptable color. What if the Americas just disappeared all of a sudden? Whoa, it's so horrible. Wholesomely horrible. Just delete all the Americas. So now it is just the um Eastern Hemisphere, kind of. There are other lands, obviously, that are in the Western Hemisphere, but there are no Americas. NATO will still exist, but it's a lot weaker. So let's start with the war in Ukraine. So all of a sudden, during the Ukraine war, there were a lot less um funds going to Ukraine, and yeah, a lot less of them. Let me just, whoa, no. Um, because the US isn't sending them anymore, neither are any other countries in the Americas. So Russia will immediately launch a campaign to take over the northern part of Ukraine, and they take Kyiv very quickly, and Ukraine surrenders. Might not expect that, but they just didn't hope that they would not get fully annexed, which, luckily for them, they are not. It's just the eastern half of the country that is annexed. However, the other half is forbidden to join NATO or the EU and is kind of a puppet state of Russia, though it is not directly, kind of. Not really, though. And of course, it will be allowed to exist. And there you go. Oh, and also Kaliningrad. But now that NATO is gone, there are a lot of things that China and Russia can, not NATO, the Americas are gone. There are a lot of things that China and Russia can do that they couldn't before. Like, for example, China here will gain some tolerance of the world. No, they won't. Okay, we'll just undo that, then do that, and do that. And there we go. Um, they will, with the help of North Korea, attack Taiwan and South Korea. Japan realizes that they can't let this happen. What is wrong with the quality? What the heck? They realize that they cannot let this happen, and so they join the war. So, yeah, it is going to be them to. Anyway, the Chinese will immediately invade Taiwan, which is a country, if you didn't realize. And they'll take all of that, and then they will work their way inland, taking the entire island. However, up here in South Korea, Seoul will fall, and they'll work their way down and take Busan, surrounding and capitulating North Korea. Take the South Korean island, and they'll land here in Japan. Japan will cut the bridges off from this island onto the others. However, it won't do anything because the Chinese just make boat landings and take over the southern part of Japan. They make several other landings across the Japanese islands and take Tokyo, causing Japan to surrender. And in the peace treaty, it is pretty simple. South Korea is annexed by North Korea. Taiwan is annexed by China, and Japan is made a puppet state of China. And that is it. They both end their fighting. It's going to be a little short, so I'll do a part two later. But anyway, over here, Algeria will do and attack Morocco and Tunisia, which are both allies of the US in the modern time. NATO wants to get involved, but Spain says no, and so they don't, and they just watch as Algerians move into both the countries. Tunis falls to the Algerians, and they surrender. However, there are some mountains in Morocco, so Algeria will have to not the coast. They'll have to go up the coast, and they'll take over here, and then take Rabat and Casablanca. However, Morocco does not surrender, and so the Algerians push farther, surrounding the mountain ranges here in Morocco, taking more of the coast. Finally, the Moroccans surrender, and Algeria will do full annexation of the both of them entirely. And yeah. And then they went down like that. Now, Western Sahara, some people consider part of Morocco, some people don't. But anyway, Western Sahara was not invaded by Algeria because they made an agreement with Mauritania, and Mauritania would be able to take it in exchange for an alliance between the two. And so Mauritania will invade and occupy Western Sahara and full annexation by the Mauritanians does not allow that. Whoa. So there you go. New map of northwestern Africa will look like this with those countries there. And yeah, that'll do it for today's episode. We'll do a part two, maybe even part 3 and 4 of this. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next